Neil McIsaac, Tamales, California. It's a 69 Peterbilt 358A. I took it from the ground up, restoration. I got a big cam 400 in it, 13 speed behind that, Eaton, 404 rear ends on Pete Low Air. Found this truck in a field at one of my neighbor's place, local dairyman, because I am a dairyman as well. And it sat in the field for 10 years. I worked on trying to get this truck.
How did you win in the end?
So what the deal was I called the guy. I took a load of hay in there because I drove hay trucks back in the day. I took a load of hay into him and I told him, if you ever want to sell that truck, I would want to buy it. And I called him every month after that, just to keep it fresh in his mind. I kind of lost interest. 4 or 5 years went by, and I drive by his place every now and again, just on my way to go get parts for a tractor or whatever. Anyways, long story short, it moved. So I called him right away. I'm all, hey, what'd you do with that truck? Where's it at? They moved it up closer to the barn. Okay, well, are you guys going to do anything? Well, yeah, we're going to put a manure box on it and this and that, and spread manure, blah, 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 because it was a manure truck to begin with. So then he calls me, I don't know, probably 3 years later. I kind of again, let it go. If I'd see him, I'd ask him, whatever. We'd run at each other.
I would have said, that's a load of crap.
Yeah. Anyways, so he calls me 3 years later. He's like, hey, you want this truck? I'm all, yeah, where's it at? He's all, it's up next to the barn. We need to move it. If you want to come and get it, come and get it. So I called my buddy that's got a low bed. I said, hey, what time can you be to such and such place in 45 minutes?
Like on the same day?
Yeah,
wow.
with that low bed. He says, yeah. I said, I'll go get on the loader and I'll hook it up. As soon as you pull in, detach, and I'll drive it. I'll tow it on and drive the loader off the ass end of the low bed, and we'll bring it home. And so within 2 hours of the phone call, it was home at the ranch, and I just started tearing it down. And my wife came in and she says, where's that truck? And I said, well, the original motor and transmissions are up there in the junk pile. The rear ends are up there too. The cab and the hood are over on that side of the shop, and the steering axle and the frame's sitting right there in front of you. And she asked me, she says, do you know how to put it back together? I said, hell no, but I'm going to learn.
It's like a giant jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah, so that's what I did. I just put it back together, and then so we went from there. And I went to a lot of different shows to see, I knew what I wanted to do with the truck, but I also wanted to see what would look best or not look, things like that. So we bounced ideas off of each other. I'll never forget Brian Martin from 4 State Trucks. When I saw him in Vegas, I asked him, I said, what'd you do with your old narrow nose? And he said, I sold it. I said, that was a mistake. You should have hung on to it, my friend. He says, I know. I asked him, I said, what do you think on trucks like that vintage, what would be best for him? He told me, and I never forgot it. He always said less is more. Mm-hmm. So I tried to keep it as minimal as possible. So
how long did the build take?
8 years. But I'm a dairyman. I got 3 kids, 3 grown kids. I just got remarried. We just had twin boys, and my daughter was on the way. And it's okay, so I'll work a little bit on it today, but I might not touch it for 3 weeks.
So when you got it, did it have a manure box?
No, it had a liquid tank on it. And so with that, with the cow manure on it, it kind of put a lot of electrolysis in the frame. So I had to cut the frame, and I'd bought another truck from another neighbor and used those frame rails and stretched it and welded up all the holes and whatnot and only drilled what I needed. Mm-hmm. And then I sleeved it, and then my painter painted the engine, which I will never tip the hood because the paints don't match. Once he painted the engine, I told him, okay, I'll have you paint the cab and hood. Well, he took my money and disappeared. And so I was stuck with the cab and hood stripped down to nothing. So I had to go to a different painter, and it all worked out. I had some kids that worked for me in the summer. They actually were just graduated, but they went back and were helping the kids that were seniors at the time, and they had just got a brand new CNC machine. I said, hey, I got this piece of mirrored stainless. This is what I want to do. I want to put my brand in it, work with the kids there at the school, and cut out my brand for me. And they were freaking out. They're like, oh my God, we don't know how it's going to work and this and that. I said, look, hey, if it don't work, you guys buy the next piece, and then it's on you. So long story short, they brought it back to me, and I'm all, wow, you guys did good. It didn't rip or nothing. I said, is this the first piece or the second piece? They said, this is the original piece you gave me. Perfect. So we built the headboard and the frame and everything and put it in there, and it looks awesome.